Hey guys, this is Jay Caldor with Jay Unboxing here, giving you my personal prediction for the Friday night clash between Michael Conlan and TJ Doheny. And as always, this is just my take. Your prediction, of course, can be left down in the comments section below. Would love to hear them all. A little bit of fight info here. We have Michael Conlan taking on the aforementioned TJ Doheny. This is going to be taking place in Belfast, Northern Ireland, so it's going to be a bit of a homecoming for Conlan. There are no title on the line, but he is facing a former titleist in Doheny, and this will also be airing stateside on ESPN+. And it's an okay fight here, to be honest with you. You have an all-Irish affair with the aforementioned Conlan taking on probably one of his tougher tests in a very durable Doheny. Not the biggest fight, of course, but a solid kind of come-up fight and a come-home fight, of course, for Conlan, and especially for his 16th as a professional. Doheny's a former world champion, as I mentioned, so it's a solid test to kind of gauge where the sometimes up and down Conlan is at this point in his career. So, without much more babbling here, of course, let's get into the breakdown of the contest. Now, for Conlan to win, I think he needs to win rounds with the jab. If you're Conlan, you're in against a veteran southpaw, so jabbing can be tough at times. However, you have the reach, and you should be able to get your aiming and distance right that can land the stick as often as possible. Doubling up the jab will also help if the naturally smaller Doheny attempts to attack and step in after that jab. Doheny will try to box initially. That's kind of going to be his sort of preset mode, but he will kind of tear into the fight if he needs to, so keeping him at bay and kind of keeping him tamed with the jab will allow for you to have some early success. I would also say don't allow your foe to make it a slugfest. Of course, as I mentioned, if you stick to the boxing, you're going to pile up those points early on. Doheny will look to make this a bit of a fight. He's going to have to if you're able to have that sort of success. And while Conlan himself doesn't mind a bit of a tear-up, I don't see a need for him to engage in that kind of fight. Really, close quarter exchanges is where Doheny has his best shot, so why be a part of giving him that best chance? Move, circle, double that jab up, and keep moving. That's going to be the best way you're going to pile up points, especially as I mentioned early on and as the fight progresses into those middle rounds. And finally, for Conlan, I would say let yourself build as the fight progresses. Now, while I wouldn't say you want to go to war late, you do want to ramp it up later as the fight kind of moves on. Give yourself something to build by keeping gas in the tank. Conlan can fade at times, it seems, so making sure you have some more reserves can keep you from being so ragged and give your opponent less chances. If the night is going your way, Doheny will be looking to come back or land those big shots later in the contest anyway, and you can kind of take that away from him if you're the one pouring on the attack as the rounds wear on. Again, don't get into war, but keep working your way through the gears each round. Now, for Doheny to win, I think he needs to look to land that step-in left hand during exchanges. Doheny is a very crafty left hand, and it lands really well from him, kind of at odd angles, and this could work well for him against Conlan, especially late, as Conlan may tire and may be more susceptible to that quick shot if he doesn't see it coming. Stepping in will be key, however, as Doheny is outreached and he shouldn't want to leave himself so vulnerable to the counter. So step in, throw it quickly and consistently, and that's going to give you the best chance for it paying off later on in the contest. I would also say don't settle for slow rounds. While Doheny doesn't want to be wild or rush his work, what he can't allow is Conlan to just have a measured, composed fight where he likely gets the benefit of the doubt in any kind of close frames. And he'll look to play it safe. Conlan, at that point, why wouldn't he? So when rounds are close or kind of up for grabs that way, TJ needs to fire off that extra combination or two. It'll make him look at least a little bit closer that way, and that will allow for him to get in some more of those kind of left hands. Whatever it takes that might kind of tip the scale in his favor should be thrown into those kind of otherwise close frames. And finally, for Doheny, I would say look to land the uppercut on the inside. Ultimately, Doheny will need to close the distance and need to get inside. He has a better chance making the fight suit his style more. It erases the reach disadvantage for him and gives that left hand more of a home. But it also allows Doheny, as a slightly shorter man, a much better chance at landing an uppercut, and one that he has actually in his arsenal, a decent one. This will vary the left hand a lot if he's actually throwing left uppercuts as well, so it kind of gives Conlan something more to guess about in terms of what shot's coming, so naturally it will also have better damage as it's a shot that Conlan might not expect. Now for me, this is kind of a difficult one to some degree. I think Doheny is a little better than some people are giving credit for, even coming off of a loss, and Conlan has been up and down for me. And he's going up against a former world champion who does have something to prove, who would love to upset Conlan. This definitely changes his life, and it's in Ireland where you don't know what kind of nerves Conlan might be facing under those circumstances. Really, if this was at Doheny's natural weight limit of 122 pounds, I actually might be compelled to take him in a small, very close minor upset. But unfortunately, I'm just not sure if under these circumstances I have the balls to do that. Odds are we'd see this fight go to the cards, and it seems unlikely Conlan loses a decision. Especially because he has at times shown the skills to get it done, and he'll probably, like I said, get that kind of benefit of the doubt on the night. So more or less, I think that's what's going to happen. While I can imagine Doheny coming on late, I think Conlan puts forth one of his better showings early on, using the jab and flashier combinations, racks up the points, and builds up too much of a lead for Doheny to make up in terms of ground later on. Conlan via a solid unanimous decision. Odds are a little wide to me with Conlan at minus 600 and Doheny coming in at a plus 350. Again, while Conlan certainly should be the favorite considering it is his natural weight class, he is kind of the fresher of the two fighters. He's certainly going to get the benefit of the doubt. I do think that TJ actually has a little bit better of a shot. So if you're looking at a plus 350 for Doheny and you're kind of where I am, a very small, very losable bet, so to speak, could be something you want to lay down. For Conlan, to me, that's just too rich for me. I mean, I don't see any value in a 6-1 favorite on a guy that I don't believe all that much in just yet. It's just a little bit too, it's just not a lot of value in that bet for me. Again, in terms of over-unders, I mean, almost no matter what the odds are, I'm going over in this one. I don't expect a stoppage, again, barring something that TJ might land in terms of that left hand, but don't necessarily see that happening. So really not much money or value there unless, like I said, you're just interested in calling a long shot. In any event, my prediction record going into the weekend is 23-7-3 with 9 exact. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Would love to hear your thoughts, predictions, bets, so on and so forth. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and follow at jcaldwell_JOB. You can email me at junboxing@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you there. Also, be sure to check out junboxing.com for schedule, results, betting odds, rankings, and more for the next couple of months here, as a matter of fact. And go ahead and check that out, like I said, at junboxing.com. And as always, until next time.